think when people see overweight people, they automatically picture my 600-pound life, and that's not the way the average overweight person
assuming stuff.
Food. I think there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to weight.
Never assume anything.
Persons who are not overweight view people who have weight. But when it comes to the way people eat, you know, you expect a fat person to be eating a pizza and then eating a hamburger and then eating, you know, going to McDonald's and getting something and then wanting to cry about it and eat a whole bag of chips. That's
about crying about it.
Oversized, so overweight people eat. We eat salads, you know, we eat healthy food.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah, we don't got 100 boxes of Twinkies in the closet. Know about that? Because if you did, you're gonna have 100 rats and 100 roaches. Know about that? So that's not gonna work.
Question then, because for the people who are going to be watching, they're going to say, well, if you're only eating fruits and salads, and you are somebody who is, you know, who says that, you know, you grew up basically dancing and you work out, then they're going to say, well, why are you the size that you are?
I don't have an answer for that. I can tell you that I'm not somebody who thinks about my weight a lot. Well,
yeah, people saying the genetic thing is BS. That depends on the person. And then like the salad thing, like I have some folks now, they like the salad, but people even tell you once you put that dressing on, they said that the dressing is killing the salad. That's like if I have baked chicken, and then I put the ranch or the barbecue on it, then that you just you know. He said, you just made the chicken. You just made it pointless. Then you don't put that sauce on there.
Let me back up.
They want you to eat it dry and plain.
Until other people started telling me that I was overweight. The trouble was people were telling me that I was overweight when I wasn't. And when you have all of your friends telling you that you're fat, you start to think, as a 14-year-old, you're fat. You know, that plants a seed. It also doesn't help when you are starting to develop earlier than your cousins and stuff like that, and then you have your aunts calling you fatso. Some people may think they are terms of endearment, but they're actually triggers, and they're hurting you, and you don't see it or think about it until it's too late.
Because of your weight, you try to become, I suppose, unseen, or just kind of small yourself up a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the ways you do that and why you feel the need to do it. Because I remember having a conversation with you over lunch, and I was like, man, if someone offends you, you need to speak up. You need to, you know, assert yourself. Don't let nobody push you around just because you're a big girl. Like, who, you know what I mean?
Cuss them out
I was
real
talking
good.
to you about that. But let's just talk a little bit about how you kind of small yourself up in certain situations.
It's the same way where you hear people say, well, you can't be ugly and have a bad attitude. You have to be one.
Pick a struggle.
So when it comes to my weight, I didn't realize that I was doing it until people have pointed it out in recent years, you yourself included. If I'm going out, I make sure that I am a little more muted than what I used to be. And it's not like you go through painstaking effort to do that. It's something that just happens, and it happened along the way. I would make sure that before we go to a place, if it's not off the cuff, I check to see what the seating arrangements looks like, because I know I have hips, and I'm going to make sure that those chairs don't have the handles, the side handles of the sidebars.
Those arms,
definitely
chair arms.
Going to be reluctant to go into a restaurant that has plastic chairs.
There's something else.
Just because I've seen people break those chairs, and while it wasn't me, the first thing that goes to your head is, well, holy crap, that person looks smaller than me. They break the chair. What do you think is going to happen if I sit in it? You know, how is that going to look? How embarrassing is that going to be? And so you wind up talking yourself out of experiencing something new, all because you had a trigger about a chair seating arrangement, you know. And I've done that on more than one occasion. Cancel going out with friends, cancel an event, just because I felt self-conscious about it. It's definitely the same thing when it comes to clothing. And don't get me wrong, I love this whole concept of body positivity and people wearing what they want to wear and feeling the way they want to feel. There's just some things, however, that plus size chicks should not wear. Just because they make it in your size doesn't mean you have to put it on. You know, when I go into a store, if I see something on the rack, I'm definitely going to try it on first before I just pick it up and carry it out. You know, and I think that's most women. And something might look nice on a rack doesn't necessarily look nice on my body.
Can I ask a question? There's some I watch all sorts of videos and read articles of people who are overweight, and they talk about, you know, hating the shopping experience, hating going into certain, like, you know, your boutiques in the mall, that sort of thing, because they just know a lot of them aren't going to have their sizes, and, you know, they see all the cute outfits and they won't fit in it, and it's kind of triggering for them, or feeling as if they only have to go to the stores that cater to the big girls, but the clothing might not be as sexy or be as colorful.
I'm sure she knows they have online stores, but she actually wants to go into an actual store. Everything is different now. Even like for a dude, I'm about walking in there, which even if I was small, skinny jeans ain't happening. You know, why the hell would you want to put Urkel's pants on? No, or whatever. No, that ain't happening, Captain. But yeah, they have better stuff at the damn what do you call it? Coat factory or Ross than going into the mall, because the mall is dead. Now they said you ain't missing anything. That the mall is like a ghost town in there. I ain't been to the mall in over 15 years, so there's probably nothing even in there for you. Yeah, they said everything is online. It's like who still goes to the mall? I don't know. Some people probably do, but I've been in the mall in 100 years now, I feel like.
Or as vibrant or as nice. Is that something that you encounter when you go shopping, or what's that experience like for you?
Yeah, it takes a while to work up the nerve to actually go through a shopping experience, because there are those triggers. You see something that's really nice and you know it would look cute on you, but they don't have it in your size. Or the material, you have to be very mindful of materials. Plus size girls don't wear linen. And if they do, that's a lot of linen that you would have had to have bought. It's very expensive because it has no give. Jersey or polyester or spandex is better just in terms of being able to be affordable and in terms of flow. And so there are 2 or 3 brands that, hands down, I will always purchase stuff from them, because I know they cover plus size women. And I'm going to gravitate to those stores just so I can avoid feeling like a loser, for lack of a better phrase.
You're not a loser
like
now.
Forever
Stop
21, that. Or someplace that says that they have plus size, but it's not really
You're
plus
cute.
size. You know, they stuck this 2X or 3X on something that should have 110% been an extra large or maybe a large. You know, just to try to get persons into the store. You know, but I think clothing stores also need to be mindful of that. You don't want to try to just get people into the store.
You disappoint them.
Right. You want people to get in and actually be able to fit in what you have for them.
Shoes are another thing, and boots that we don't talk about, right? So you know, we focus so much on the clothing, but then there's also the shoe aspect for somebody who is bigger. So talk a little bit about that.
I
the narrow shoes and the shoes that pinch.
I would probably have to get those custom made, and I do not want to know what that price is. Definitely socks are better, but plus size women tend to need a wider size shoe, just because you may have petite feet. You may be a size 7. I personally am a size 11 and a half, 12 on a good day, but even size 6 feet swell.
Let me ask you something. How has your love life been affected?
Size 6, that's a small
you know,
foot.
This is a private. How should I say this? This is a personal question. Pardon me. This is a personal question. So, I mean, you know, feel free to stop wherever you need to stop. But you know, just talk a little bit about, you know, how your personal life has been impacted. You know, dating life.
Oh Lord, my parents are gonna see this, aren't they?
Don't tell them about the video.
And their smile is cute.
Whatever you feel comfortable sharing, share it. What you don't feel, just zip it up.
Sex is never an issue.
Oh Jesus, you went there. Okay.
Woo!
You have a socket and somebody has a plug, it works. Sex is not the problem.
She's something else.
Relations, long-term relations, that's a whole different ballgame. And that's the end goal. The end goal is you want somebody to spend time with, to spend relations with. But, so the last guy that I actually dated, he was attracted to me because I was plus size.
Yeah, some guys are.
I however, had my issues with my weight. And he flat out told me, you're making me uncomfortable in this relationship.
Yeah.
And he was like, and it's not
She was
because
making
I don't
him feel
love you,
bad.
it's not because I don't want to be with you, but you being self-conscious about your weight, you not wanting to go out, you are making me self-conscious about your weight.
This reminds me, not to cut you off, have you ever watched Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? The first one?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I seen them both.
Sheila, the character played by Jill Scott.
Jill Scott, I remember that.
And when she finally meets Troy and she's like putting herself down, and he's like, why are you doing that? Like, you making me uncomfortable? That's what that reminded me of just now.
Sheila's a lot of women.
Damn.
Sheila's a lot of women. And a lot of men.
I seen them both. I seen both of those. Those classics. I remember. What was it? When Sheila. I think it was the second one. Yeah, when she started, because she broke up with old boy. When she started dressing up. Now you want her back. She then got into that whatever dress that was. Can't remember what color it was. She got into that dress. Now you want her back. She said, "Kiss my ass." That's what she told you. It's like I said about the chick putting dude in the friend zone. Now that the other dude hurt your feelings, now you want to take dude out the friend zone. Like I know dude was laughing at it, but I was serious. Don't come back kissing ass now. He said he was probably on the ground rolling, but I was serious. Don't kiss their ass now. You done friend zone the dude. Come on, I'm about trying to get him back now after the other dude hurt your feelings. That was a piece of work.
Want to give love to women who are plus sized, but there is that block because some of us don't feel worthy about it. They don't feel worthy of having that kind of love because they feel less than, because they've been feeling less than for a long period.
Is that because
you shouldn't be
less
feeling
than, or
bad.
It's just in you because the world has made
Actually,
you
no.
You shouldn't feel
I
bad.
have been fortunate to never have experienced a guy put me down because of my weight.
That's great.
I've never had any guy tell me, "Oh, you need to lose this," and yada yada. I've never had that.
You're fortunate.
All been very, very supportive. If you want to exercise, go exercise. If you don't want to exercise, don't exercise. You know, but they were fine with me. It was me who wasn't fine with me, and it took a while for me to figure that part out too.
You have women too who are uncomfortable when they see a guy who is into you, he loves you, he cares about you, but they just cannot understand. And this is something you and I spoke about, where they can't understand why you with this big girl.
Yeah, I've had same last guy. I remember distinctly one time we went out. There's a place in the Bahamas called Arawaki. We went out there, and he just had this thing about my butt. You know, he always wanted to watch me walk.
Because you're curvy. You have an hourglass figure and a big bungie.
So this one time I just obliged him.
There you go.
We were just walking maybe like 4 or 5 steps behind me. It wasn't even like it was so far apart you could see that we weren't together. And there were these 2 girls who decided they were going to shoot their shot.
In the front of you.
They liked how he looked, and they were...
That's dirty there.
Or whatever. And
Right in front of you. That's dirty.
You know, and they thought he was joking. And he said, "No, this is my girl." And I turned around, I said hello, I was just trying to be polite. And the girl was like, "So this fat got.
Whoa, now, whoa. She should have cussed.
Would you stand it
All
right
right,
there?
now, all right.
Stand
Hold
right
it,
there.
She should have cussed the shit out of him. She should have gave him the, should have gave him the Gordon Ramsay. Should have said, "You stuck up little bit." Yeah, she should have. God, I don't like calling folks stuff like that. But yeah, when you get a person hot and pissed off, you don't give a damn. Yeah, gonna insult the woman with her dude with her dude right there. Well, I'm not saying knock the shit out of him, but she should have let him, cuss him out. That's messed up.
Why? She don't look better than me. And he was like, well, right now she look and sound better than you. And he could see that I was getting ready to start tearing up. And so we just left. And he said, don't let them
I would have been angry.
And I was like, it's a little too late for that. But you do have, I find that women are more cruel than men when it comes to being over.
Yeah. It is something. I remember back in the day, go, such and such like you. Yeah. But that's nothing. That's nothing like saying okay. Because you don't like the fat guy. That's nothing new. But now this is a new one. Saying you're too light skinned. What the fuck? Or this is another one. You're too old. Wow. People think I'm younger than what I am actually. So I'm about too old. And then what did Alexis say? And she was telling the truth. Which just was bullshit lie. Oh, I'm not looking for anyone. Next thing you know, she's talking to somebody. So yeah, lying to you instead of just saying you're not interested in walking off. What about lying like you're 15 years old in high school? What's the point of lying? You don't like the person. You don't like the person. But it's about lying about it.
Wait, and again, this isn't everybody's journey. This isn't everybody's scenario. It's just mine. But it's having those kind of encounters that make you reluctant.
I don't like the way that woman picked at
go out in the first place. It's easier to stay at home and avoid all of this.
You shared something, Vanessa, with me. It was a video of a woman on TikTok or something where she was talking about, I think it was you who shared it with me. It was like a stitch video. With this gentleman who was responding, I suppose, to this woman who was talking about don't be dating fat girls because and I'm going to put it in the video so you guys can see. Let me put it in right now, as a matter of fact.
What?
Man, stop sleeping with overweight women. When you keep sleeping with them, you let them know that they could just give the bare minimum and don't take accountability for their weight.
What she talking about?
So get bigger and bigger because they know there's somebody out willing to go to Pound Town with them. But if you starve them out, and they're unable to find a man, I bet you don't get in shit.
But she said basically to the guys, if you go out with these girls, if you sleep with these girls, they're not gonna want to lose weight. You're encouraging them. They're not gonna
That's bullshit. The horse shit. That's bullshit.
As if girls who want to lose weight, who are battling their weight, are gonna be like, oh, now that I'm getting some loving, I'm gonna stay just where I am. Sometimes now I can throw my hands in the air.
That's not how life works. Sex doesn't stop people from trying to achieve a goal. That's some pretty obtuse thinking for somebody who, I'm like, if you have an issue with plus size women, I would prefer you to put out a video to encourage them to lose weight in a more positive way as opposed to going.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't see the whole clip of this one woman. She can't, because I know some women don't like the term BBW. They rather you call them fat or what she just said plus size. But it was some woman. I can't remember what her name was. She just was straight up bashing the big women. I can't remember who she was, but she can sit on the damn cactus. Cause I don't know what the fuck her problem was. But yeah, that was pissing me off. Yeah, she was going on and on and on. But I don't know the name of her channels or the name of her whatever her name was. But yeah, that was pissing me off.
Down that road and telling men don't have sex with women at all. That's their preference.
She might as well say, listen to you, the food stores out there, don't serve these women when they come in here looking for food. And to the restaurants, when you see a fat girl walk through the door, don't serve her, because that's only going to encourage them to keep eating. Let me ask you, one of the things that I've seen so many times in interviews, in books, just watching people, they talk about, for overweight people, men and women, but especially for the women, they talk about not having a lot of advancement in the workplace due to their size. They can be smart, they can be hardworking, but there's this perception that you're a sloth. There's this perception that you're slow. There's this perception that you are just not worthy of the position, that people are not you're not somebody to look up to. There are people who say that I know I could have gotten a promotion because I put in the work, but I know that the reason I wasn't promoted is because I'm a big guy, I'm a big girl. And what has been your experience with in the professional environment?
I have had people, I've submitted resumes and packages into companies, and I've been shortlisted, and then we get to the visual interview. And the minute they see me, faces change.
You could see that face change.
There's a slight downturn in a smile. But it's not a frown, You can tell that there is a discomfort there because there are some people who equate being overweight with a lack of discipline. And because if they figure if you have a lack of discipline in your diet, then you have a lack of discipline everywhere else. And that's not really the case. Sometimes your diet may be the only place that you have a lack of discipline. Or exercise would be the only place.
Yeah, like she said in the beginning of the video, people assume everybody's like everybody on that show. That's not true. Now all the crap that the bullshit that happened back in the day, I could have been on that show, but it didn't get that serious. But yeah, going back to the assuming thing, that's like saying, okay, because a person looks mean, and you don't even know them, they're mean. They could have just had a long day, or they could have just got fired, or something happened. Who knows? But I don't know about this assuming stuff.
That you have a lack of discipline, and you're more
focused you hate that
on driven in every other part of your life. But unfortunately, those companies don't get to see that because you can see the workings in their minds. How they're already trying to figure out how to shut down the interview, or because your interview is slightly shorter than everyone else's.
I've read that.
And there's nothing you can do about it except keep a smile on your face and stay pleasant, because at the end of the day, you also don't want them to call you emotional, because women aren't the only people who are called emotional.
Oh yeah, men can be very emotional.
Yeah, but sometimes if you're overweight, emotion also comes, quote unquote, comes into play. And so you keep that kind face and you sign off, and you don't want to have that sign of resignation to say, oh well, on to the next. But sometimes the look in all of your interviewers, especially if it's a panel, you can see it, and because I've had a couple of friends who, the Bahamas is very small, so there are only so many people who are qualified to do what you do. So sometimes you would wind up having somebody else in your field who's a colleague, who's a friend, do the exact same interview. And you would just do a comparison of questions that were asked and demeanors and stuff like that, and you'd be able to just
deduce that it boils down to my appearance. Yeah. Another thing
there's the judgmental stuff that pisses you off.
About when you're flying the friendly, but now these days it's so unfriendly skies, and the trials and the tribulations you go in. We've seen people say they've been forced to buy 2 seats. Listen, and you and I, when we had the conversation, because one of the things you talked about is you can kind of see the faces of the person who you're sitting next to on the plane, and I said, Vanessa, while I empathize with what you're saying,
when you're feel bad for like the 7-footers, like even back to like Andre, Had to get in there. If somebody tried to get smart with Andre today, if he was just talking about, I don't want this giant man, Giant Andre would have snatched their ass and threw him out that seat. I don't want to sit next to this giant man. Okay.
I also can relate to what they're saying, because when you're in coach is already incredibly uncomfortable, right? You're stuffed in a little tiny seat with no leg room, and when somebody comes alongside and they are sort of leaning into your space, it does affect them. You know what I mean? I certainly understand that. What I don't give right to is when people are incredibly disrespectful, incredibly rude, because I feel like there's a way to go about very quietly.
Yeah, the rude shit.
Comfortable in the seat to a stewardess, to a flight attendant, and getting relocated or something. But that's not been your experience. So talk about, and we're running a little low on time, but just talk a little bit about like what you experienced the minute you walk on that flight.
This entire journey that I've been on this year, I'm super nervous about traveling on Tuesday to Vancouver. It's going to be the very first time that I am using coach and not first class. I made it a point when I started this journey to buy a first class plane ticket because I didn't want to have any negativity in my space coming on this kind of extended travel. And I got in, I asked for the belt extender, and I had my space, the people next to me had their space, everything was fine. Because I've had good and horrible experiences with passengers not wanting to sit next to me if I have to have that divider.
I'll sit next to you.
As far as
don't worry about it.
I'm spilling into their space, which I'm totally.
And we'll chit chat the whole flight. I never even been on the plane. I don't know about getting on the plane.
At the same time, there's nothing I can do if we are in a tin can flying 35,000 miles above the air for 1 hour.
Feet.
So yeah, 35,000 feet up. You know, and so I try to be as compact as I possibly can, not relaxing in my seat, because I want to make sure that I'm not offending them or making them uncomfortable. You know, and I've had instances where people have been very, very kind about it. I've had instances where people were very belligerent about it, and they would complain to the stewardesses 20 minutes into the flight. They can't take it anymore. They don't want to be seated next to the fat girl. They need to find. So
get off the damn plane then. She's trying to enjoy herself.
Especially if it's a full flight. Find somebody who's willing to swap with that
I'm getting
person,
hot again.
just to make sure that, you know, somebody's kinder sits next to me for the duration of the flight. And yeah, I feel for both sides. I understand both sides. You know, at the same time, there's nothing I can do about my weight in that moment. I can't suck all of that weight off of my body. And so
leave her alone.
I totally get why people tend to purchase two tickets. But even in that, sometimes you have plus size people getting cursed out because couples want to sit together and the seats
I'm gonna cuss them out back.
And so they're mad because they can't sit together because the plus size person just bought 2 out of 3 seats, and there's nowhere else for them to be, you know, in the same row.
Like you can't win for losing.
Right. So what you want me to do? You know, so I'm kind of nervous.
What do you want? We have like 2 minutes left, but like, what do you want people to take away from this interview? And by the way, I have to thank you so much because, you know, I know you don't like doing these types of interviews.
Not at all.
You said this on my other video as well. But I really, like, just listening to you, I was like, you know, it's great that you're sharing this with me, but it's one thing when, you know, the person says it and then, you know, people get to hear it from their mouths, you know what I mean? Like, I could never tell your story the way you could tell your story, so I'm very grateful to you for even agreeing to this, because it's not a comfortable conversation. So, I mean, what do you want the great takeaway to be for, you know, individuals who are watching this today?
I think the best takeaway I can give is that life is a journey, and your journey is personal to you. But I want people to realize that overweight people are still human. We still have feelings, and we have some struggles that most people don't take into account. And so just be mindful of that before you pass judgment.
Before I leave, I want to.
Yeah, she's stop it right there. She's really sweet. Yeah, somebody was talking nasty to her, and I was there. You see the dark side come out. That's right. I'm not talking about Lord Vader or Darth Vader, but smashed in the seat. Just so somebody won't get angry. I mean, smashing yourself and see. Yeah, it made me think about traveling back in the day, going to the family reunions, getting the minivan, and in the back seat, rough with it, knees in the dashboard, rough with it, to the point where your legs are asleep. Oh boy, and then you be happy as hell when they take the pit stop, because you get out and stretch, because those legs are gone. It'd be worse if Shaq, or another 7-footer had to get back there. Yeah, but the knees be gone. The knees way up in the dashboard, or not the dashboard, in the back of the seat, rough with. Oh boy, whew, because that was something. But yeah, we're getting back to the beginning or the early part of the video, disrespecting the woman in front of her man. She should have cussed the hell out of all of them, whoever it was, because that's fucked up. Just like I said about those folks insulting me to my damn face, talking about something. He's light skinned and he's too old. So if I look like what's that dude's name? If I look like Snipes, I guess you'd be in heaven then. Damn.